So they were in the waiting room.
Ma'am, Amisha ma'am with us. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ajay. Good evening, everybody. One of Ali, happy done. Happy Diwali. We will be, as my letter would have suggested, I'm extremely pleased to make. Why is it echoing? Is it echoing? Better. Yes. Much better now. So as what I have written in my email also, I'm excited to make each and every one who have made PL a partner in PL. You mean that in last 1.5 years, we have been also growing very aggressively. Some of our new initiatives have started bearing fruits. As you all know, at the age of 80 also, we are proud to say we are a startup and we are the pioneers of quant-based investing in India. Actually, in India, we were the first to commission a team to research quant-based investments 3.5 to 4 years before. It's only after the rigorous hard work of the team for almost 2.5, 3 years, which comprises of not only Siddharth, but largely the statisticians, mathematicians, economists, chartered accountants, Python developers, and other developers. The result of their hard work has today made this possible that our first style agnostic and style adaptive scheme, Aqua, crossed the AUM mark of 500 crores. While you see the PMS number of many large competitors, the 500 crore may look small. But the most important thing is, before this in market, nobody knew what is quant-based investing. So we had to overcome that challenge. We had to also not had any track record of performance except the historic backtesting results. And because of which no national brand sold us. But this is due to sheer power of the product, performance, and our entire team, which is not only product but sales also, that we reached this critical milestone of 500 crores in Aqua PMS. And as we know, with 1 year performance, which is a stupendous 25% alpha, which means 25% higher return than the benchmark, that we feel now there will be no looking back for our scheme in terms of AUM growth. And the fact that in last 4 months, when the trend in the market completely changed from all momentum-based defense, railway, infrastructure, etc., capital goods stocks to defensive consumer, IT, pharma stocks, Aqua has fully adapted, and each month in a falling market also it generates an alpha. So that why I need to share with all of you who all are not even selling Aqua, or who all are part of my finance team, who all are part of my operations team. Why do you need to know all this? Because you all are my partners. So it is my duty to share all the good and bad developments with all of you, make you feel as happy and as sad that I feel when some such development happens. So this is our joint winning, the fruits of its growth, all of us are going to share. Similarly, as you know, we opened our separate PL asset management office during last year. We completely moved to a new place with a renovated office at our Delhi office, which is not only our retail broking and distribution, but now it is meant with our corporate advisory and investment banking team. It is also meant with our uh, first soon to be launched performing client team, and have our wealth team. As you all know, we last year hired a senior team for investment banking. Have own continued to have many deals, which is preferential placement, pre-IPO, etc. But last year we did our first IPO after a long time, and once again it created history. So for 24-25 till date, Gala is the highest oversubscription grosser IPO, and it is the 8th highest since 2007. Imagine when we were launching this, of course, the institutional equities team worked very hard. All the rest of the wealth and advisory team also worked very hard. But put together, none of us really dreamt that this is the kind of success God is going to bestow our PL team with. And with all this and more, I also need to say that the way we initiated a complete change from active PMS to quant PMS, which took us 3 years, 4 years to keep supporting that team, so that we saw the seeds of a new era now. And last year, I took this investment banking team. Then we have also taken senior corporate advisory team who are now running 5 M&A strategic advisory transactions. And we wish them all the very best to meet with success sooner. We have also hired a very, very senior resource, rather our partner, in the name of Inder, who comes with wealth of experience to man our wealth business. And we wish him all the best, that to all the other partners of this business, who are all of you, he brings success soonest with least cost and a lasting success. And even this year, our retail broking business is 50% up YOY. When everybody else talks about what happened to the F&O business, you would be happy to know that at PL, our revenue per client, even this year, continues to be highest in the industry, 32,000 rupees per client. So the quality of business that you all as a team and we as a brand are doing is one of the best. Having said that, you all know that we did our first placement of PL, close to about 6% of our equity we placed at 253 rupees a share. And the next placement, whenever after these few key successes we will do, will be at close to 401 rupees. Having said that, we have promised in one of the offsites, and team is now ready, and they have rolled out the ESOP, which will make all of you the partners in progress. I wish you all very best. And the team will now take over to explain you the ESOP plan. Thank you, everybody. Over to you all, Ajay and team.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am, for giving the updates across the group, and also encouraging each and every family member at PL. So, dear all, at the outset, let me wish all of you guys in advance happy Dhanteras, happy Diwali. Among other beliefs we have for Diwali festival, one of the beliefs says it is also a time for new beginning. So the time for new beginning has already started for PL. As you all are aware, we have recently celebrated our 80th year of PL journey. With your support and hard work, we are crossing milestones every other day. Now, friends, as you guys are aware that we have uploaded the grant letters in your Darwin box. I'm sure by now you all have seen your grant letters in Darwin box, read through it, and also acknowledged the same. We have our consultant, Mr. Jigar Shah from ESOP Direct, which is a Capita company, and he will take us through the finer details of ESOP. And my request is, whatever doubts, whatever queries you have in mind, you can put down those questions in the chat box, and Jigar will ensure that he will answer each and every question and clear all his doubt for all of you guys. Over to you, Jigar. Thank you.
Yeah, hi everyone. Jigar here. I am a company secretary by profession, and I'm working with ESOP Direct now since over 5 years. And prior to this, I was associated with BSc and MCX. So I have worked with approximately 80 plus companies in last 5 years. So I hope that I'll be able to clarify all your queries throughout this journey of around say 45 minutes or so. So the flow of the presentation is basically to help you explain what is ESOPs, why they are beneficial to you, how the taxation works, how the wealth will be created, and then we will jump in into the stock option plan of the company. So this is the phases that we will go into. At any point of time, if anybody has any questions, you can post it into the chat box. We will answer them one by one at the end of the slide or at the end of the presentation. So a brief about our company. Basically, we have been in this business for over now 20 plus years. We have 2000 plus customers, and we are managing around 14 billion worth of ESOPs, and total around 3 lakh plus employees go on our platform. So they use our platform for exercising ESOPs or to manage their ESOPs. Few of our clients from the BFSI sector are Axis Bank, ICICI, Muthoot, Aditya Birla, and non-BFSI, Nykaa, Ola, Persistent, Flipkart, ITC, Sula Vineyards. These are few of our clients. So basically, if you think anything about equity stock options, we do everything in terms of designing it, managing it, even as we act as a trustees. Now let's jump into the main topic. What is an employee stock option plan? So basically, before jumping into the technical parameters of what it is, I'll give you a small example so that you can relate very easily what is an employee stock option plan. That we use it day in and day out. So everybody knows by now that it is used to share the wealth with the employee, as well as to ensure that the individual goals and corporate goals are aligned. So to give you an offbeat example, I'll give you an example of a family member. So basically, say if you have a kid or a daughter in your family, and she's appearing for her CPT exams or CA final exams or any exams. At that point of time, to motivate her, you will promise her, you just promise her that in case if you clear these exams, then I will give you a vacation. And if you clear with a rank, I will give you a vacation plus an iPhone. So basically, I'm setting out certain terms and condition because I want her to perform well, and I want that she should also gain something when she appears in the exam. So what happened here is that I'm giving her a choice. Ultimately, whether to accept it or not, it's that kid's choice. That if you go for the exam and you clear it, then you get a vacation from my end, and if you clear with a rank, you get an iPhone. So what does that kid get? They get the benefit of clearing the exam. They also get the motivation to outperform their expectation as well by obtaining a rank. As a parent, what will I achieve? I'll be proud kid. I'll be a proud parent basically that my kid has achieved. I cleared her CPT and also got her rank. So this is basically an underlying condition that I'm keeping. So the first point here is basically it's a right that I've given to her. Yeah, it's a choice that she can accept it. So in terms of ESOP, what we are giving you is currently an option. It is a choice, not an obligation to the employees that you can buy the shares or get the benefit on those shares in future. Now, second, what does an ESOP offer? So it will offer a reward for contribution. It will offer an additional incentive, attractive returns, ownership, windfall games, no upfront investments. So similar to what example I gave, in my example also that kid was going to study for the exams anyway because she is appearing for her CPT. But by giving her extra something to work upon, I motivated her. So here it is the same thing that whatever she studies, she gets something back in return. So here, how it will work is in the following manner. So how ma'am explained you that she is making you all a partner in the company. By calling you all as a partner in the company, it means that everybody gets the same piece of the pie that the shareholders get. So here, this is a wealth creation group. So here, what we are doing is that we are already as an employee contributing through our innovation, efforts, and teamwork in the growth of the company, which ultimately leads to value creation. And then once ESOP is implemented, now that value also is given to or shared with the employees. So basically, currently, say our price is 253. Now, when we work harder, when the company valuation goes harder, say in next 2 3 years, if the price moves to 800, then your stock option value will also be 800 rupees. So, irrespective of the price at which you have been given right now, you will get the benefit of the difference. So, equal wealth is shared at all times with all the employees. So you guys are at par with the promoters, founders, and other investors, basically. Yes. So why ESOP? It is in addition to it is a reward which is in addition to the fixed pay. The growth compounding is higher as compared to variable pay. So we all know what variable pay is. It is a percentage of your CTC. So if I have a CTC of 10 lakh rupees and my variable pay maximum is 15%, depending upon my performance, at max I can only get 1,50,000 if I achieve all my targets, nothing more than that. But in case of ESOPs, it is not like that. As long as we are performing, as long as we are doing our best, outperforming our targets and contributing to the growth of the company, whatever the share price is, you will get the same share price when you exercise and liquidate your stock options. So there is no अपर लिमिट. कोई ऐसा नहीं बोलेगा कि इस साल के एंड में अभी बस 500 रुपये हो गया तो अभी अपने को स्टॉक प्राइस बढ़ाना नहीं है. So it is like an ever growing thing. So as a partner, you will also get the benefit of the increase in the stock price. So it is to recognize the talent for their contribution in the growth, and it is for retention of the talent. So this is very meaningful because no founder would easily part with equity because equity is something which is very important, and to give it to an investor or to an employee, it means something. That is why this plan is being implemented. So as I told that the wealth will be shared equivalent to the value of shares upon liquidity events, which are like your IPO or a new investor coming in or a strategic sale. Appreciation, as I told, it is sky is the limit. So whatever the price that is achieved as on date of liquidity event will be the benefit that is given to you. So here it is basically your contribution directly affects the value of your stock options. So directly, indirectly at each levels when we are working towards achieving the goals of the company. So we from this day onwards, we have to make sure that all our objectives are aligned because you guys also are the owners in the company. So whatever you do, don't do will affect the value of the stock options because ultimately it will increase decrease the value of the company shares as well. So even if you're a team member, you have to push everybody that they have to achieve all the targets so that the value increases and everybody benefits out of it. So what is the expectation from the company? The expectation is basically sustained performance and achieving next level of the growth. So how will the ESOPs work? So basically ESOPs itself as a life cycle. So we will explain you the life cycle. So in the beginning of the presentation, I gave you an example that when I promise a kid that if you go and appear for the exam and pass, you will get a vacation, and if you score a rank, you will get an iPhone for me. So that was basically a promise made by a parent to a kid. That is basically the grant stage. So the grant stage is nothing but the promise given to by the company to you in form of a letter that these are the number of stock options that I am giving to you. This is the price at which I am committing it to you. This is the period when you will get it, and this is the price that you have to pay to get it. So this is basically a promise given to you. Now comes the vesting stage. So vesting stage is similar to the kid going to the exam, clearing the exam and scoring a rank. So this was an underlying condition that I have kept at the time of grant. कि अगर आप एग्जाम में जाते हो, आप एग्जाम क्लियर करते हो तो आपको पहला माइलस्टोन जो है वेकेशन मिल जाएगा. रैंक लेके आते हो तो आपको एक आईफोन मिलेगा. तो उसमें बेस कंडीशन क्या होगी? पहले तो बच्चे को जाके एग्जाम में अपीयर करना है. सो हियर द first underlying condition in case of ESOPs that you have to stay in employment of the company. So if you are in the employment of the company, you will keep on getting the stock options, right? So that is the base condition. And upon that, we have also kept certain performance condition which will be in your grant letter. So in case of that kid, performance conditions क्या क्या थी apart from appearing for the exam? एक तो पहले क्लियर करना है और दूसरा रैंक लेके आना है. तो हमने दो माइलस्टोन्स डिफाइन कर दिए. So basically everything is defined at the time of grant. Vesting is basically achieving of that conditions. So once you have achieved all your conditions, now comes the final stage, which is exercise and sale. So यहाँ पे grant और vesting stage में there is no outflow, cash outflow, because you are only achieving your terms. Now you are only getting the right to exercise the options and convert them into shares. So up to vesting, there is no cash outflow from employees of any kind. We have a separate wealth creation example wherein you will understand everything. So please bear with me for some time. And exercise and sale is basically at this stage you get your money. In all other cases except for IPO, the exercise will be completely cashless. So cashless meaning कि अगर एक investor आता है, investor is willing to buy stake from the employees, the company will set up an event in such a way that you will have to write certain waivers, write certain forms, and the trust will settle everything on your behalf and pay out you the benefit. So say हमने अभी price समझो 180 rupees का रखा है, 250 is your current market price. Company has given it to you at a 30% discount. So इंडिया में ऐसा कोई लॉ नहीं है जो ये अलाउ करता हो टू गिव शेयर एट डिस्काउंटेड प्राइस. दिस इज ओनली फॉर द पर्पज ऑफ स्टॉक ऑप्शंस. Even if an investor is coming in today to invest in the company, they cannot go beyond below FMV. They have to invest it either at FMV or at premium, which is determined. So this is one of the biggest benefits of implementing ESOPs or and also for the employees. तो अगर फ्यूचर में जो 180 में आपको मिला है, दैट इज योर स्ट्राइक प्राइस, दिस विल नॉट चेंज. सो इवन इफ योर शेयर प्राइस गोज टू 1000 रुपीज, तो आपका जो 820 का बेनिफिट है वो हमेशा रहेगा. तो आपको 180 ही देना है। जब मार्केट में प्राइस 1000 चल रहा होगा, आपको शेयर्स 180 में मिलेगा। तो जो डिफरेंस का बेनिफिट है, दैट इज समथिंग विच इज कॉल्ड एज परक्विजिट। वी विल कम टू दैट इन नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। सो यहाँ पे in any other events, the trust will manage everything on your behalf. So the trust will sell the shares, it will collect the money on your behalf from the investor. So जो हमने एग्जांपल दिया अभी कि 1000 रुपये वो इन्वेस्टर से कलेक्ट करेगा, 180 जो आपको पे करना था एक शेयर खरीदने के लिए, वो भी माइनस करेगा, टैक्सेशन लायबिलिटी है वो भी माइनस करके डिफरेंस का पैसा आपको वापस रिटर्न कर देगा। बट इन केस ऑफ आईपीओ, व्हेन द कंपनी इज ऑलरेडी गोइंग टू गो पब्लिक, all the investors are going to get liquidated or then new investors are coming on board, at that point of time you will get a separate timeline where the plan will be amended and you will get a separate timeline to invest in the company. So basically you will, as I told you, that you will have to pay a meager amount of 180 rupees as against 1000 rupees market price at that point of time, and you will own the shares. And after that you can hold the shares to enjoy generational wealth. जनरली अच्छी कंपनी है तो कोई बेचता नहीं है, जैसे हम बोलते हैं रिलायंस है, टाटा है। सो यू जनरली पीपल डू नॉट सेल सच स्टॉक्स. सो इन सच केसेस ऑल्सो, once you have paid the money, you have paid the tax, you can hold the shares, or you can sell certain amount to recover the cost and keep everything in your demat account. So this is basically exercise and sales. So there are total 4 stages. One is grant, where we are making promise of what we are going to do, how we are going to do, at what price, क्या terms and conditions आपको fulfill करनी है. उसके बाद आपकी वेस्टिंग की जर्नी शुरू हो जाती है. वेस्टिंग में बेसिकली यू हैव टू स्टे इन द एम्प्लॉयमेंट ऑफ द कंपनी, यू हैव टू अचीव योर टारगेट एज स्टेटेड इन योर ग्रांट लेटर, and once the liquidity event comes, you will get the opportunity to exercise, right? So now, as I gave you an example that 180 का शेयर अगर 1000 रुपया हो जाता है एट द टाइम ऑफ लिक्विडिटी इवेंट बेसिकली. सो इन दैट केस जो आपका 820 का गेन है उस पर टैक्सेशन तो आएगा. जहाँ पे पैसा मिलता है वहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट को तो कुछ ना कुछ चुकाना पड़ेगा. सो द फेमस डायलॉग फ्रॉम द मूवी EMI, लिया है तो चुकाना पड़ेगा. सो हियर बेसिकली there is nothing which is going to go at the time of grant or vest. जो फर्स्ट टैक्सेबल इवेंट है, जब भी आप एक्सरसाइज करते हो उसी टाइम पे आपको टैक्स लगेगा. एक्सरसाइज इज बेसिकली जैसे वो बच्चा जो एग्जाम में गया था और क्लियर हुआ, वो आके पापा को बोलेगा मैं एग्जाम क्लियर कर दिया है, आप मेरा वेकेशन बुक करो. जैसे मैंने स्टार्टिंग में बोला था, इट इज द राइट विच इज गिवन टू द एम्प्लॉई, ही हैज टू एक्सरसाइज इट in order to get the benefit. So there will be first level of tax which is perquisite tax, which is equivalent to your salary tax. So जो आप स्लैब रेट में फॉल करते हो उस टाइम पे वो आपको टैक्स पे करना है. एंड सेकेंड वन इज बेसिकली एट द टाइम ऑफ सेल. सो बेसिकली जो कैपिटल गेन्स होता है वो. सो दिस इज बेसिकली टू टेक्निकल, आई विल एक्सप्लेन इट टू यू इन फॉर्म ऑफ एन एग्जाम्पल. से किसी एम्प्लॉय को 10,000 ऑप्शंस मिले हैं एंड उनका वेस्टिंग पीरियड है 5 years का, एंड देन द स्ट्राइक प्राइस विच वाज गिवन टू हिम इज 180 रुपीज. तो उनको 180 में ही सारे स्टॉक्स मिलेंगे, एक्सरसाइज करेंगे. और जब उस टाइम पे जो प्राइस थी वो 250 थी, तो इट वाज आई मीन अराउंड 30% डिस्काउंट, राइट? सो व्हाट हैपेंस हियर, यहाँ पे मैंने 180 पे उनको दिया हुआ है एंड ऑलरेडी प्राइस जो मेरा 250 पे. सो द एम्प्लॉय इज अराउंड 70 रुपीज इन मनी फ्रॉम day 1. सो डिस्पाइट at the inception of the scheme only the employees in money. So December 29 में IPO आता है and the employee decides to exercise, right? So the stock price has zoomed at least 12x from 180, it has gone to 2090. So he makes a gain of around, perquisite gain of around 1910 rupees. So ये फर्स्ट स्टेज ऑफ टैक्स है बेसिकली. यहाँ पे क्या होगा, एम्प्लॉय जो है अपने ऑप्शन को शेयर्स में कन्वर्ट करता है. तो यहाँ पे ये फर्स्ट लेवल ऑफ आउटफ्लो है. वो शेयर्स खरीदने के बाद देन ही डिसाइड्स टू कीप इट फॉर 1 year एंड देन सेल इट. तो तभी जब बेचता है तभी अराउंड 3000 रुपए की प्राइस चल रही है, 3030, एंड ही मेक्स अ गेन ऑफ 940 रुपीज. यहाँ पे लगेगा कैपिटल गेन क्योंकि हमने यहाँ पे ऑलरेडी टैक्स भर दिया है. सो 3030 माइनस 2090 विल बी योर कैपिटल गेन. So now we will see the cash outflow inflow in this current example. So अगर 10,000 ऑप्शंस जो है वो एक एम्प्लॉई जब एक्सरसाइज करता है, he will create a perquisite value of 1,91,00,000 रुपीस नोशनल वैल्यू जो उस दिन पे था. सो उस टाइम पे एम्प्लॉय को, कंपनी को पहले गवर्नमेंट को जो टैक्स देना है दैट विल बी अराउंड 57 lakhs. दिस इज अज्यूम्ड एट 30%. जो भी स्लैब रेट में आप फॉल करते हो वही आपको लगेगा. इट इज नॉट ब्रैकेट एट 30% फॉर एवरीबडी. एंड एक्सरसाइज प्राइस जो है वो आपको लगेगा 18 lakh रुपीज. सो दिस 75 lakh will be something which you will paying the company upfront, and then once you sell it in the market you get around 2 crore rupees क्योंकि आपने उसको 2000 सॉरी 2009 2090 में आपने उसको बेच दिया है. ठीक है. उसको बेचने के बाद जब आप अपना इन्वेस्टमेंट माइनस करते हो देन यू गेट 1,33,00,000 इन योर हैंड. सो नाउ दिस विल बी सब्जेक्ट टू योर कैपिटल गेन्स. तो जो ये वाला 940 वाला जो पार्ट है इसमें से आप कैपिटल गेन्स जो है वो कट करके आपको हाथ में जो भी फाइनल अमाउंट है वो आएगा. सो टू समराइज इट, बेसिकली दिस इज अ बेनिफिट दैट इज गिवन टू यू which is not available to anybody except for the employees. Even promoters are not eligible to get stock options, so nobody else can get it. It is only exclusively for the employees of the company. And if anybody has any questions at this stage, you can ask. Please use the chat box for questions if anybody has. You can mark the question to either me, Naveen Singh, Chintan Shah, or Ajay ji. Yeah, so basically, is there a IPO timeline?
Hello. Yeah, there is definitely, so as you all know, majority of we recently did a 5%, 6% dilution and raised the funds from a group of HNI clients as well. And we are definitely, to provide them exit, we are looking at IPO. The timeline would depend on the market condition, our business performance, but broadly the internal, whatever the target is, about 2 years, to get it listed on the exchange. There is no buyback plan. It is only linked, the exit is linked either with a IPO or a private equity happening.
Yeah. What will happen to the option in case of M&A? So basically, so the plan already has covered, and it is also legally protected that in case of any merger acquisitions, the stock option does not get affected. In case, say, if the company merges into some other company at any stage, the new company will give you the new options and the vesting period and everything will be adjusted. सो इट इज लीगली प्रोटेक्टेड. तो ऑप्शंस पे कोई दिक्कत नहीं आएगी. तो कहीं पे भी अगर कंपनी मर्ज हो जाती है या इफ देयर इज आल्सो बोनस इश्यू और इफ देयर इज एनी स्टॉक स्प्लिट, एनीथिंग व्हिच इज देयर, द ऑप्शंस विल बी एडजस्टेड अकॉर्डिंगली. सो ईसॉप्स पे कोई इफेक्ट नहीं आएगा डाइल्यूशन का. बेसिकली वॉट एवर हैज बीन गिवन टू यू इज योर नंबर. ओनली इन केस ऑफ एनी कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन लाइक एज आई टोल्ड यू, दैट इज मर्जर, एक्विजिशन, बोनस, स्टॉक स्प्लिट, you will be given a suitable adjustment, so which will make sure that your value is not impacted. So basically जैसे मैं बोलूँ, अगर किसी को 10,000 ऑप्शन, जो ये वाला ये एग्जांपल हम लेते हैं, 10,000 ऑप्शन और आज 250 प्राइस चल रहा है और कंपनी 1:1 बोनस लेके आती है, सो द कंपनी विल इश्यू एडिशनल 10,000 ऑप्शन फॉर एडजस्टमेंट. एंड जो स्टॉक प्राइस है वो आधा हो गया क्योंकि बोनस आया है, तो आपका जो एक्सरसाइज प्राइस है वो भी 90 का हो जाएगा. So basically it is adjusted in that. So basically tax breakup यहाँ पे हमने जो calculate किया है, everything is calculated at 2090 only. So if you take wake up. हाँ. So yeah, here we have calculated everything at 2090 so that employee exercises and employee also sells at the same price. Just give me a second. Yeah. So basically, if we take an example here, हमने जो calculation किया है, वो हमने ये किया है कि the employee exercises and sells it at the same price. So that is why the total gain is 1 crore 33 lakh. So अगर हम उसकी जगह पे if we use 3030 as the price, then in that case the gains will change to around 2 crore 27 lakhs. सो हमने क्या किया है कि एम्प्लॉय इस प्राइस पे एक्सरसाइज कर रहा है, दैट इज अराउंड 2090, and at that point of time he only invests or pays the exercise price and pays the taxation and he keeps the shares and after 1 year he sells it. तो कैश इनफ्लो जो है वो ये स्टेज पे होगा 3030 पे. द टोटल गेन दैट ही मेक्स इज अराउंड 3 करोड़ on selling the shares, and after reducing his liabilities of 75.30 he'll be able to take home 2 crore 27 lakhs. तो यहाँ पे फर्स्ट स्टेज जो है, दिस इज बेसिकली आउट ऑफ योर सैलरी. सो गवर्नमेंट जो है वो इसको मानता है सैलरी इनकम ओनली बिकॉज इट इज बीन अर्नड बाय यू when you were in the employment with the company. So this is something which you have to pay upfront. So if anybody has any questions here that ये एक्सरसाइज प्राइस इतना सारा हम कैसे पे कर पाएंगे या एक साथ कैसे होगा कि अगर इतनी क्वांटम है तो, सो एज आई टोल्ड यू दैट जब भी कंपनी आईपीओ के लिए जाएगी देयर विल बी अ रीजनेबल पीरियड दैट विल बी गिवन टू यू, से 1 years 2 years 3 years. तो उस टाइम के अंदर आपके पास मौका रहेगा कि ये ऑप्शंस को आप पार्ट पार्ट में भी एक्सरसाइज कर सकते हो. And after listing you also get an option for funding. So basically if you don't have that money, you can also take the funding from an NBFC, and they will fund the exercise and they will give you the shares on a certain fees. So in example, price should sale example. So see, both the example can be taken. If I take as 2090, there will be no capital gains. And if I take 3030, तो जो difference होगा वो मेरा capital gains होगा, that is 2 crore 27 lakhs. उस पे short term long term जो applicable है वो लगेगा. So the first part of here, which is perquisite tax, that has to be paid to the company by the employee because the company is responsible to डिपॉजिट इट विद द गवर्नमेंट. तो जैसे नॉर्मली हम एडवांस टैक्स वगैरह जो कटता है आपकी सैलरी से, वैसे ये सेम ट्रीट किया जाएगा. And so that is one question, that if perquisite tax has to be paid even if there is no cash inflow. Yes, so if you want to own the shares, you will have to pay the perquisite tax basically. So that is one process that has been determined by the government, that this is the stage when income tax will come into point. कि आप जब ऑप्शंस को शेयर्स में कन्वर्ट करते हो तब आपको जो भी इनकम है उस पर आपको टैक्स भरना है. उसके अलावा उसके बाद आपको शेयर्स मिलेंगे. And then it is your choice whether you want to keep the shares. So say what strategy certain companies or certain employees use is that when they exercise say all the 10,000 options, out of that they will sell 3,000 of shares in the market to recover their exercise price and to recover their taxation liabilities. बाकी के 7,000 है वो डीमैट में पड़े रहेंगे. So only if they need to sell it they will sell it, otherwise it will be uh, in the my demat. So basically we will come to that part now. Post So taxation related, all the question are clear. I think we have addressed.
So in terms of the cash flow also, just to make it again clear, there could be a three scenarios in terms of the exit for an employee. One scenario when any private equity or any M&A transaction, if anything happens, some investor is coming and is willing to provide exit to our employee. In that scenario, the employee doesn't have to pay anything to the company. It is on, for example, if any investor in the same in the same scenario is coming at 2090, is offering that price, then the difference between 180 and 2090 adjusted, they will deduct the tax, and whatever is the difference will be directly paid to you in your account. So there is no outflow or the investment by any employee in that particular scenario. In case of an IPO, in IPO, as Jigar mentioned, at that point in time, the management will decide and give you a window or the period by which you need to own the shares and exercise it. Now, if you want to exercise before IPO, then yes, you need to pay the tax. You need to pay that 180 rupees and get that shares in your Demat account. And you have to wait till the listing period. But if you choose not to do that, you can do post listing also. So in that case, what happens post listing, you have to pay 180 rupees, you pay whatever the tax is. Immediately within 1 or 2 days, you get the shares in your Demat, you sell it into the market. So the funding requirement in that case would be only for maximum, maybe a period of 1 week also, 1 week only. And there are number of NBFCs who provide the ESOP funding at a very reasonable rate. And even, this ESOP Direct has also tie up with various NBFC, they provide the funding so that the employee can purchase it. Post listing, as I mentioned, the investment would be hardly for 1 week. So that is about your cash outflow.
Yeah. So basically, there is one question that perquisite tax will not depend on the exercise price, right? So basically, perquisite tax depends upon the price at which you exercise. So basically, market price जिस दिन आप exercise करते हो, that is 2090. So it is dependent upon the market price on the date of exercise price. Sorry, on the date of exercise. So the day you decide, that is in 2029, and that day it is 2090. So 2090 minus 180 rupees, the difference will be your tax. The 1910. तो वो है, वो आपका tax रहेगा.
But then it will be as per the number of shares vested by them.
Yeah. So everything is dependent upon. So basically, say if anybody gets a 4-year vesting period or 5-year vesting period, and by the IPO comes, say IPO comes in next 2 years. Today we are in 2024, and IPO comes in 2026. So only 2 vesting would have happened, right? So in that case, if we consider 5 years, so only 40% of the options would have vested. So आप खाली 40% ही exercise कर पाओगे. बाकी की जो vesting है वो continue होते रहेगी as per the timelines that has been given to you. So whatever is vested, वही आपको मिलेगा. So continuing my example at the start of this presentation, अगर बच्चे ने एग्जाम क्लियर किया है तो वेकेशन ही मिलेगा. रैंक नहीं आया है तो आईफोन नहीं मिलेगा. So whatever has been achieved or whatever vesting has been achieved, that is only what you can exercise and not anything else. बाकी का है जो उसकी टाइमलाइन दी गई है, उसी टाइमलाइन के हिसाब से वो चलता रहेगा.
ESOPs are of which company? There one of the question will just come.
Yeah, ESOP is of our holding company, PLAD Prabhudas Leeladhar Advisory Services Private Limited.
Yeah. So basically, at any stage, basically there is one question that then this will be considered for. No, so basically there is one question that if the company opts for an IPO, then difference between 3030 and 250 will be considered capital gains, right? No perquisite in that case. So no, that is not basically the case here. The government is very smart. So only when an option is converted into shares, that is the case stage where you will have to pay the perquisite. So even if there is an IPO and directly the price comes to 3030, so the difference, whatever it is at that point of time, so around 2800 rupees or something like that, उस पे पहले आपको perquisite देना ही पड़ेगा to own the equity shares. Any gain above, over and above that price now will be considered as capital gains because now you have that asset in your hand. So the first stage cannot be escaped by any way. There will be perquisite and then there will be capital gains.
So the day when you exercise your options, the fair market value on that particular day minus 180 rupees is the on which the perquisite tax will get calculated. Post which everything would be capital gain.
Yes. So vesting will work according to the schedule that has been given to each and every employee. The exercise, as I told, at current stage, as we are an unlisted company, the exercise period we have kept is an indefinite exercise period. This options will never lapse. So basically, once it has vested, you will get the opportunity to exercise it in the reasonable period that has been given by the board at the time of an IPO or any other event. So this plan will be amended और उसमें period दिया जाएगा कि उसके अंदर आपको exercise करना है. So if it's a case of IPO, there will be a reasonable period within which you will be given, within which you have to exercise the options. Yes.
So far, whatever Jigar had explained towards perquisite tax, towards capital gain, it is not PL specific at all. These are general information with regard to any and all companies who are issuing ESOPs. Right.
Yeah. So option valuation and everything, FMV and everything is decided at the time of liquidity event only. So as in last preferential issue, the company might have arrived at a price through valuers. In the same case, the company will inform you the valuation and what is the tax that you have to pay. And yes, exercise period, as I told you, you will be given reasonable period at that point of time within which you can exercise everything in one go or in parts as well.
So at this stage, we have, so we'll open up the exercise window. We have not given any particular exercise window at this point in time. It is only grant and the vesting. Whenever there is some liquidity event, the management will decide the exercise window, and within that window, you need to exercise your options.
So the period is basically indefinite.
Does this affect CTC in any way? No. This is over and above your CTC and the regular bonus increment that you get. This is the additional thing which has been considered by the management.
Okay. Moving on. From here onwards, my colleague Naveen will take over. So we will be now diving into the specific provisions of the plan. Now, few confidentiality points over here before Naveen takes over. As we do not discuss our salary with our co-employees, do not discuss your numbers also with your co-employees. Do not discuss your vesting period also for your co-employees. Everything has been determined by the management. It has been approved by the board of directors, and then only has been rolled out to you. So if you have any query, you can reach out directly to the HR team or to Chintan or to your reporting manager regarding that. Do not discuss this internally. There are adequate clauses to make sure that if this comes that A ने B को बोला यार इसको तो 500 दिया मुझे क्यों 1000 दिया तो उसका भी 500 जाएगा और आपका भी 1000 चला जाएगा. So do not discuss this internally and yeah. So let's get on. Yeah, Naveen, over to you.
Thank you, Jigar. So myself, Naveen, to give you a brief introduction, I am a qualified company secretary and with ESOP Direct for a period of 1 year. Prior to this, I was with Sriramachan Mangalas. So I have a professional qualification of around 10 years into the legal industries. So Jigar has briefed you about the ESOP and its philosophy. Now we will talk about the specific provisions of PLIN ESOP 2024. So first is the grant thing. Like Jigar has already explained you about the stages. First will be the grant, then vesting, and then the exercise. So the first year is about the grant, and for that the employee has to be eligible so that it comes into the picture. And that power is with the board of directors who will decide the eligibility of employees depending upon the factors which are designation, period of service, means how long they have been associated with the company, their performance or maybe past performance, and certain parameters such as the work performance and future potential and other factors which the board may decide from time to time. So this is kind of a gate opening for them to enter into this plan. So once they are eligible, they will get some stock options, and after that there will be a vesting period which will start. So as per law, there is the requirement of minimum 1 year. There has to be the vesting period. Prior to that, you cannot exercise the granted options, and the maximum vesting period here is 5 years. So whatever the vesting period which will be assigned to you particularly will be in between 1 year to 5 year, and it will be mentioned in your grant letter. Like in case there is an example, in case the company goes for the IPO in 2026, there is a power or discretionary power given to the board where they can accelerate the unvested options and they can make all the unvested options vest at the time of IPO. So that is a separate thing. Unless and until board goes for the acceleration of vesting, the vesting will happen as per the vesting schedule given in your grant letter. Vesting conditions is like talking about the previous example given by the Jigar. That kid has to pass and has to clear the exam with the rank, so that the employee has to be there with the company for the period of for the given period during which the options will get vest. Along with that, the board has the power to give you certain performance conditions that has to be achieved during the vesting period.
So just to summarize here, everybody needs to read their letters very clearly. Whatever vesting conditions are mentioned in your letter, whatever vesting schedule is mentioned in your letter, you have to achieve that in order to get your vesting. So if you have any queries with your vesting conditions or vesting schedule, you can reach out to the HR or your reporting manager to understand it very clearly. And each employee or each category of employee may have different vestings, so different vesting condition as well depending upon the levels. So request you to, as I told in the starting of this part of the presentation, do not discuss this. Only if you have any queries, you can reach out to the management.
So moving to the exercise process, there are two things that is linked to the exercise. The first thing is the exercise price, which will be there in your grant letter and which may differ from employee to employee. Currently, like we have a disclosure, there is a discount of up to 30% which is given to the employee as exercise price to the current FMP. The exercise period is the window within which the employee can exercise the vested options. So in case the employee is there in the employment, the exercise will take place at the time of liquidity event, which can be the incoming investor or IPO. And in case of any other separation event like resignation without any misconduct, so again the vested options, the exercisability is linked with the liquidity event, and all the unvested options as on the date of resignation will get cancelled. In case of termination due to misconduct, so everything which is, let it be vested options or unvested, it will get cancelled. You can refer to the definition of misconduct which is there in our plan. So you can refer that plan for the more information about the definition of misconduct and what are the terms which are there to be triggered. In case of retirement, again, all the vested options will be linked to the liquidity, and the unvested options at the time of retirement, whatever the numbers are there for the unvested options, all those options will get cancelled. In case of death and permanent incapacity, the vested options again will be linked to the liquidity, but all the unvested options will immediately be vested on the date of the event. So whether it will be death or permanent incapacity, all the unvested options will be immediately turned into vested options, which is required as per the law. And all those vested options, or you can say all those granted options, will be eligible for the exercise. The another event is like transfer or deputation from or to the subsidiary company into the Prabhudas Leeladhar. So in case the vested options, the exercise period will remain same. So whatever the exercise period mentioned in the grant letter of other company, it will get adjusted in the another company or transferee company, and the unvested options will continue to vest as per the vesting schedule which is there in the grant letter. So necessary adjustment will be made in that thing. And in case there are any other events apart from the events which are disclosed here, we have given the right to the board to decide about the treatment of the vested options. And in case of unvested options, everything will get cancelled unless until other thing is required as per the applicable law.
So basically, just to summarize on this slide, in case of continuation of employment, everything is linked to liquidity. So as I told in the start of the presentation, it is an indefinite exercise period which is given to the employee. So even if it is in case of separation, as you see, as long as the options have been vested in whatever period you have served, so that is say अगर 4 साल का exercise period है, आप third year में छोड़ के जाते हो and 50% options have vested, so that 50% options will stay with you unless and until there is a liquidity event, and the rest of the 50% during which you did not serve, it will automatically get cancelled, right? So this is applicable in all the cases like resignation. It is also applicable in case of retirement or termination without misconduct. So basically there is a layoff or something like that. Even in that cases, your vested options will stay with you. Continuation, everything is linked to liquidity event only. Now in case of death, death and permanent incapacity, there is no minimum vesting period also that is applicable. So if such an unfortunate event happens, say within a month or so of grant of options, everything that was granted will get automatically vested in that case, and the employee will the nominee, or in case of permanent incapacity, the employee will have the right to exercise it as and when the liquidity event happens. So now moving forward. So these are few of the important terms that you have to be mindful of. Lapse of options, basically that the options that have not vested, or the options that you choose not to exercise will get lapsed. मतलब जैसे मैंने बोला था, आप अनवेस्टेड है और रिजाइन हो जाता है, अनवेस्टेड पोर्शन तो कैंसिल होना ही है, और जो एक्सरसाइज पीरियड वाले ऑप्शंस हैं, अगर वो आप एक्सरसाइज नहीं करते हो, जैसे मैंने स्टार्टिंग में बोला था, इट इज द राइट विच इज गिवन टू द एम्प्लॉइज, राइट? सो अगर आप चूज करते हो कि वो राइट आपको एक्सरसाइज नहीं करना है और वो पीरियड खत्म हो जाता है, तो सब कुछ कैंसिल हो जाए. सो यू विल हैव नो रिकोर्स ओवर इट, नो बडी कैन रीडू एवरीथिंग. सो मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि उसको हम एक्सटेंड कर सकते हैं या उसको बैकडेटेड कर सकते हैं, वैसा कुछ पॉसिबल नहीं है. Second, lock-in of shares. So once you exercise, convert the options into shares, there will be no lock-in. You are free to keep it in your demat account, sell it. Rights of a share.
Even in the case of the IPO also, there would be no lock.
No lock-in. Yes. Unless उस time पे कोई law आ जाता है by SEBI. As of now, there is no lock-in. And rights as a shareholder, you will not be treated or given the rights of the shareholder unless and until you own the equity shares of the company. So certain rights of the shareholder is to receive the dividends, right to vote, right to receive financial statements. Nothing you will get until and unless you own the shares of the company. That is upon exercise. But जो भी adjustment है, that is in the case of corporate action, bonus, rights, issue, merger, demerger, कुछ भी होता है, उसमें आपको adjustment मिलेगा. Also in terms of options, exercise price, and where needed, it will also be given in vesting period as well, right? Transferability, these options are not transferable. आप किसी को बेच नहीं सकते हो, option within employees trade नहीं कर सकते हो, ना ही इसको pledge किया जा सकता है, mortgage किया जा सकता है, ना ही आपके बिहाफ पे कोई और इसको एक्सरसाइज कर सकता है. ओनली इन केस ऑफ अनफॉर्चुनेट इवेंट ऑफ डेथ दिस ऑप्शंस कैन बी ट्रांसमिटेड, otherwise not. And as I told in the starting, confidentiality is very important in this, to ensure confidentiality of the options that have been granted to you. And so please make sure that no data is shared among employees. Other thing to take note, apart from all this, is basically to fill your nomination forms. Please make sure that when you are writing, when you are reading the plan document, when you are reading through the grant letter, when you are accepting it, also make sure that you fill the nomination form and give the correct name, ID proof and everything of the nominee to the company. So in case of unfortunate event, it is easy to reach out to the correct nominees of the company.
So
Sorry, of the
nomi-
employee.
yeah, so nomination form, if you go into your Darwin box, there is a task box. Within that task box, there is a custom flow task. Within that, we have kept a nomination form, which is a fillable PDF. You just need to fill the name of your nominee, their PAN card number, an address, and you have to submit it. And it is compulsory. Without that, we will not accept your grant also. And the time period to do accept, so there are two steps. One, you need to accept your grant letter on the Darwin box. When you open your this grant letter, below that you will see there is a tab called acknowledgement. So you need to click on that. That is first step. And the second, you need to fill up the nomination form. Both the form needs, this grant letter acknowledgement and nomination form needs to be filled up within next 30 days. If we don't receive that within the 30 days, whatever the ESOPs are granted to you shall get cancelled.
So there is one question that if my vesting happens in 2025, finishes in 2029, IPO is coming by 2030, and I sell my all the shares, vested shares, then the gains will be qualified as STCG or LTCG. If I exercise my shares after first vesting, then can I sell it in the secondary market? So first of all, please remember to use these two terms very separately. Currently, you have been granted options, not shares. The option will become shares only when you exercise it. So when on daily basis also when you communicate, please make sure that you communicate in the right manner so that you remember at what stage you are first. And as I told in the start, I mean, when we were discussing the taxation part, that currently it is linked to liquidity. Even after linked to liquidity, you are given certain period. The first stage will always be perquisite. You cannot escape it at any stage that you exercise. So whether it will be in 2029 or 2030 or 2026, the first stage will be uh, your perquisite, and the second stage after you own the asset, that is equity shares, it will be your capital gains. So yes, after when you get the equity shares of the company and the company is listed, you can sell it in the secondary market, open market. Basically you are free to do anything that you want to do with those shares, so better to keep it and enjoy wealth creation.
One more query, sir. If vested options are not exercised and then lapse, that means no tax liability.
Yes. So if the vested options are not exercised and they lapse, there will be no tax. So until and unless you decide to exercise, there will be no taxation.
So no cash outflow, no taxation at grant level, grant or vesting level. Everything is at the exercise level only.
So it's very easy to understand. Basically, the instrument is not that tough if you use this daily life example. And also, as an additional point, what you can do, you all might be having Google IDs. So you can create Gmail alerts basically for ESOPs, liquidity events. So you will come to know from markets also that how the liquidity events are created, how the wealth creation is created by the companies. So you can stay aware about how ESOPs work, how the taxation works and everything. So that will help you to be well informed when the liquidity event comes. So yeah, Ajay ji, over to you.
I mean, I hope all your queries and questions are, kind of answered to the best of your satisfaction. Still, if at all you have any more questions, we have our senior consultant, Mr. Jigar Shah from ESOP Direct. Or what you guys can do is, if at all something comes to your mind, you can write to the HR team, or you can write to Chintan, and we are more than happy to address your query. As we understand, it's a new subject for all of you guys, but it's a very simple subject, as kind of Jigar has taken us through the entire thing in a very lucid, and given a lot of examples to explain the various terminologies. So, any more questions? Chintan is coming. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So this present. You
Yeah, I mean,
speaker.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. So this presentation will upload on the Darwin box. So you want to view, even though there is a ESOP policy and FAQ is also available on the Darwin box within the policy sections. But this presentation PDF also we will upload over there.
Yeah, and in case of any separation, yes, the company will connect with the employee to exercise their vested options. The employee has to make sure that as and when they retire, they have to update their final email address, their residential address. And in case if there is any change in future, they get in touch with the company and also inform them uh, about the updation of their communication details so that they can approach.
Yeah, there's one question. What happens to a new joinees? So this is the one-time grant that we have, given to all employees. Now, whenever there is a new employee or the new grant, the management will take a decision at that point in time.
Yeah, so guys, I think the quota of questions at your end is over as of now. So as I said, we will upload this presentation in Darwin box for your quick reference. And still, if at all any query remains, please feel free to write to HR or Chintan, and we'll be more than happy to explain you whatever is not understood at this point in time. At this point in time, I would like to thank our senior consultant Jigar Shah, who has taken the time from his busy schedule to take us through the details of the ESOP for our better understanding. Thank you, Chintan, for spending so much time over the last few days, kind of formulating and working, even at odd hours to formulate the policy, and kind of helped us putting it in Darwin box and the various things. Thanks, Namita, for working along with Chintan for, kind of framing all of these things. Thank you, Rucha, for your help in setting up this webinar and, being with us all through. And thank you, all of you, for taking time out from your busy schedule and joining us through this ESOP session. Thanks a lot. Thank you.